Hey, vinyl community. Hey, how's everybody doing today? Well, I'm starting up a new series. If you saw my first part, it was on Beatle imports. And so I'm continuing into my second one. And this is part two of Beatles imports. So I hope y'all are doing well. What do you say we get started and jumping right in? So welcome to Beatle Brad. Let's go. All righty, here we go. My first album is Beatles Casualties, as I zoomed in showing this to you. This was kind of the bootlegger's version of Rarities. And this had some great stuff on it. Really liked it a lot. It had a lot of very good stuff on it. A lot of good songs, but you know you love the cover. That's kind of neat. Kind of the Butcher. And then show you the fantastic label that this came out on. Isn't that nice? Nice and brown. 180 gram. Just kidding. It's not 180 gram. Don't type to me. Just having fun with you. But that's a great album. Lots of times I'll get bootlegs, which I'm calling them imports, bootlegs, and these because of the covers. I love the covers, and you get alternate takes of a lot of songs, a lot of different things. So it's kind of neat. So it's kind of back and forth of a lot of really good stuff. This next one up is my ultimate favorite one. This is the Beatles Black and White. And it's just, look at that, it's just a nice picture. Just a great, great picture of the three of them. 1, 2, 3. Yeah, there's 3. Okay, who are we missing? We're missing Paul McCartney. And Paul McCartney's on the back. I don't know how well you can see this. The writing on this is horrible. But a lot of the songs that are all on this, they broke this up into categories. So if you could see it from the front, like I said, the back of this is all broken up into Chuck Berry, Little Richard, Buddy Holly, stuff like that, and they do all the songs. And these are all like alternate takes. And this is absolutely fantastic. This is a little bit harder to find, a little bit harder one to run across. But if you can find this one online or a purchase or whatever, I seriously highly recommend this one as one of my top. This is probably one of my top 3 CDs of all. Is this one? Okay, this is really good, and like I said, they do a lot of terrific songs on this, just terrific. And Paul with his brownie camera. Okay, did I show that long enough? Next one up is the Beatles Watching the Rainbows. And this was done in 1969. So this is all during the Let It Be and all that kind of period and all of that. Lots of times I'll just buy an album because I love the cover. And this was taken from Mad Day Out, as you all know now. For those of you who don't know Mad Day Out, it was a fantastic series where they did pictures of the Beatles. Here, I'll show you another great, this is actually one of my very, very favorite pictures of Mad Day Out. Absolutely love that photo. That is just fantastic picture of the lads out doing a photo session. And there is some video to this. I do have some of the video as well. Very hard to get the video of this, but this is a good album. A lot of it's, like I said, is from '69. Watching the Rainbows was a song. It's an okay song. It's not the greatest. You wouldn't say, oh my gosh, you know. The song has never been released. Watching the Rainbows never made the anthology. There's a lot of these other songs on here that are off your regular album. But Watching the Rainbows never made it to any of the released stuff of the Beatles. And the company RCA that has the dog, you know, the dog with his ear to the side listening to the record, his master's voice, This is the bootlegger's version of it, which is a gun up against the dog's head. Isn't that great? So that is the logo for that one. And this was very, very big in the 70s and 80s, this record label, really big. And I had a lot of fun because I was getting ready for this series and wanting to talk about these albums and wanting to give an example. And ironically, very rarely when I bought these records back in the 70s and 80s did I get a receipt. But I found my original receipt, and there it says 1979, as you can see. So that's kind of cool. It's the only reason why I wanted to show you that. It was just kind of neat as a receipt. But a lot of these albums are fun to listen to. You get alternate takes, different songs, like I said, showing of Watching the Rainbows, different things like that. And then this next album is not... dropped it. Excuse me. This next one is a CD. Excuse me, I didn't mean to say album. Next one is a CD. And it is this one. Great picture of John and George there, isn't it? This is a terrific CD. This has 33 tracks on this CD. And I apologize, you really can't read them. I really wish when they did this that they did not print it in red. But it's absolutely horrible. Let me turn this a little bit. That this is printed in red. So all the writing and all of that is horrible, like I said, because it's in red. But there's a lot of really great stuff in here. A lot of BBC stuff. Some demos. A couple Christmas messages that were different than the actual album itself. I don't know if you got to see that. I apologize, like I said, if you couldn't read that. But you might just go ahead and pause on your own. I wish when they did this that they printed it in white. White would have been a whole lot easier to read and see and all that kind of stuff. But, they didn't ask Beatle Brad. They should. Yeah, really. Next album. This is not that old. This was put out a couple years ago. And this is the Beatles. I don't know what you would call this. I still got it the original shrink wrap. But it's all during the Let It Be. During Let It Be, there's a lot of bootleg stuff. So if you're just now starting out and you're getting bootlegs and stuff, don't be concerned if you're finding just Let It Be. Because there's a lot of Let It Be sessions and demos and outtakes and all that kind of stuff. But anyway, make a long story much longer than what I am on this one. The guy told me that this was put out, was going to be an album right after Let It Be, and that this whole thing is basically instrumental, and it's all instrumental and jazz. There's no vocals in any of this. It's all instrumental, like I said. I don't care for it. So if you want to complete your collection of more Beatles stuff and you just want to have it just because of the novelty, because it's jazz, the Beatles actually just performing instruments and like I said, no vocals, it's okay. It's okay. The only reason why I really like it, those of you that watch my channel, and for those of you that are new, you'll have to catch up, but Beatle Brad absolutely loves colored vinyl. And didn't know that until I got this album, but it's on white vinyl. And I'm happy about that. That's great. That's terrific. That made it an added bonus. Because the rest of it's horrible. It really is. It's not an album you want to go out and get. It really, really isn't. Okay, next one up is another bootleg CD. And this is terrific. This is a really good one. This is more Let It Be stuff. But it's also alternate takes and different songs and all of that. And this is put out, so you can see in the corner there, this is put out by Yellow Dog. Now we're getting into a different company. Yellow Dog was very big in the CD world of doing CDs. Yellow Dog was pretty dominant. when these were produced. And this is good. This is terrific sound quality. Excellent, excellent sound quality. This is a good one. I recommend this if you're also in the CD market and you're not really into the vinyl. And then the next one up is this one, which is got a good picture of Ringo on the front. Ringo's Star. And this is all Let It Be stuff. And if I remember, I'm just going by memory here. You might have to zoom in and pause on your own. There's a lot of songs on this, as you can see. There's a lot of songs on this one, but this does not have, I think, any complete songs on it. So it's kind of a rip in the regards to the songs, but there's some very, very interesting discussion and stuff. There's the title of the album up here. The interesting title thing about this is Beatles, they talked about it, and you can hear it in this album where they say, oh, you know what we ought to get a cruise boat, and we'll be the house band for the cruise, which I never knew about. That, you know, this is during '69, during Let It Be and all that period, that they talked about maybe perhaps not even telling anybody, and whoever got the tickets for that cruise, just so happens the Beatles are the house band for the cruise liner. So that's kind of neat. They kind of talk about stuff like that, but then they talk about the rooftop and just general things. And then this is the record to it. For those of you that collect these albums for bootlegs, I hope maybe this will help you a little bit in making some decisions on which ones to get and which ones not to get. Maybe you've already got all of these. Let me know which ones you have of this set. I've got a lot more to show. You know, just don't start writing to me about, oh, I've got such and such and such and such, and you don't have it. I got a lot more to show, so, you know, I may have the one you're talking about. But for right now, this is kind of where we are of showing you these albums for now. These are a bunch of them are really good, really good. Like I said, the instrumental one I wouldn't get. The next one is a CD of the Beatles at Shea. And this was such a big deal that a radio station actually plugged in to the live concert itself, and they did a broadcast from the radio station. And it basically is them going through each song when the Beatles sing live, and they're up in the studio and they say, okay, the Beatles are getting ready to sing next. You know, let's turn up the volume and we can hear them, and you can hear the crowd screaming. So it's basically song by song of them performing. So this is kind of a radio broadcast, and it's interesting, and it's got some radio promos also on this. It's got some promos for Candlestick Park, some commercials for Candlestick Park, which I've never heard. Radio station commercials for Candlestick Park, which is cool. And this is really kind of cool. So some of the other stuff kind of balances this CD out being not the best. The studio stuff of them talking is very good. Good quality, fine. But, you know, it's a handheld microphone, and I guess the guys just kind of had their mics out the window when they're in the broadcasting booth. So, you know, you're not going to get a fantastic copy of Shea. I wouldn't recommend that to buy that for the copy. Plus, it's not complete. It's just them talking like I am and rambling. All right. Next up is this album. And I love the cover of this album. I really get lost just looking at this. Spend a lot of time just looking at this cover because I think this cover is just really, really cool. Really has a lot going on. There's a lot of detail. Beatle Brad is still looking for wallpaper. I've got a guy that I've been talking to who has an enormous roll of paper. And I just haven't gotten around, you know, he hasn't gotten around to cutting a piece for me. You know, I want a fairly good sized sheet. And I've been asking him for over a year now. So, I mean, I hope to get my paper soon, if he's watching my video. But anyway, like I said, I can just get lost in this cover. And what this is a Capitol release of alternate songs and different takes, and they show the albums down below here. I'm not totally positive on the story on this, so maybe some of you can help me out, but I guess this was going to be a re-release, a legit album. Like I said, here's the song tracks on it. And then I guess something fell through and they didn't get around to releasing it. But mine is a real, legit bootleg. The real one has kind of like the label in here, it looks like Capitol Records. So, you know, it's got the Capitol logo, but mine doesn't. So mine's a copy of it. So that's kind of neat. I like it. It's got some great stuff on it. A lot of it's already been released, yes. A lot of it's on the anthology, yes. But it's also just, it's just a good one to listen to. So, you know, when you're out maybe online trying to find stuff that you want to buy, take a look at some of those albums. Some of those are really good. Some of them are terrific. Some of them aren't so good. Some of them are very, very hard to find, like some couple of CDs I showed you. But I'm going to end with this book. This is kind of neat. The reason I'm showing you this book, as John said, in the section in the middle here, it has a whole article in here about a bunch of Beatle bootlegs. So that's kind of neat too. So it describes and talks about bootlegs. Every Beatle collector has them, but not everybody wants to talk about them. You know, not everybody shows them and discusses them. There are not too many people who show them. So it's just an interesting topic. You know, then we start going into some of the solo ones. But this is a very nice book. It's all color pictures. Just an excellent, excellent book. You know, I'll end up with this, showing you that. It's kind of neat. Neat picture. All right. Vinyl Community Music Channel. I'm going to end with this song. Hopefully. And this is the Beatles doing the Roy Orbison song, Sweet Baby. Sweet Dreams Baby. I couldn't think of it, I just drew a blank. But this is lead vocals by Paul. Great song, great song. All right, Vinyl Community. Well, I hope you enjoyed this on bootlegs. Comment down below. Let me know what you thought. All right, Vinyl Community. Take care, everybody. See ya. I'm out of here.